Have you ever looked into the eyes of a ghost? Not a specter from a folk tale, but a real person, frozen in time, their story lost to the dust of a forgotten evidence room. This is the story of how a digital graveyard, a subreddit called r/RBI, became the unlikely key to a vault sealed for 15 years. How a group of anonymous strangers, armed with nothing but curiosity and a Wi-Fi connection, stared into the abyss of an impossible code case, and the abyss stared back. October 14th, 2007. The town of Cedar Creek was the picture of autumn tranquility. But that tranquility shattered when 24-year-old Lena Petrov didn't come home from her shift at the local library. Her apartment was untouched. A half-finished cup of tea sat on the counter, gone cold. Her car was still in the parking lot. There were no signs of a struggle, no forced entry, no angry ex-lovers, no secret double life. Lena was just gone. The police worked the angles until there were none left. They interviewed everyone. They followed every lead, no matter how faint. But each one dissolved into nothing. The case grew cold. The file was moved to a storage room. For the family, the not knowing was a special kind of hell, a wound that never healed. 15 years later, in a different world, a user named TruthSeeker81 stumbled upon a scanned newspaper article about Lena. It was a rabbit hole, a puzzle that called out in the silence of the night. They posted the scant details they had, and the internet answered. Not with answers, but with more questions. Amateur sleuths, data analysts, a nurse from Ohio, a truck driver from Texas, they became digital detectives. They had no badges, only a shared, burning need to know. They started from zero. They built a timeline so meticulous it put the original investigation to shame. They cross-referenced weather reports, business receipts, everything that was publicly available. And then, a user named Pixel Patriot noticed something. In the background of a grainy, digitized photo from a gas station security camera, a photo the police had dismissed, was a reflection, not of Lena, but of a man staring directly at her car as she pumped gas 2 days before she vanished.
The man's face was unclear, but his jacket had a logo, a small, almost invisible emblem on the breast pocket. The Redditors zoomed, enhanced, and debated for days. What was that logo? A user who worked in graphic design isolated it, cleaned it up. It was the logo of Apex Landscaping, a company that had done work for the library the week Lena disappeared. The energy in the subreddit was electric. This was it, a thread no one had ever pulled. They dug into the company's employee records from that time, and one name kept coming up, a man named David Miller. Quiet, kept to himself, had a minor record for trespassing. He was questioned in 2007, but had a solid alibi. He was at a buddy's house, watching the game. But the Redditors weren't looking at his alibi. They were looking at him. A user digging through a forgotten archive of a local college's astronomy blog found a post from October 14th, 2007. The post complained about how the new security lights at the Cedar Creek Library's parking lot were creating light pollution, ruining their stargazing. The post included a time-stamped photo of the library, taken at 9:17 p.m. The exact time Miller's alibi placed him miles away. And there, in the corner of that celestial photo, was a truck. Miller's truck. Parked behind the library an hour after Lena's shift ended. His alibi was a lie. He was there. The digital detectives had just placed him at the scene 15 years after the fact. They had connected a man in a reflection to a logo, to a company, to an employee, to a shattered alibi, using a photo of the stars. Armed with this meticulously compiled digital dossier, the Redditors did what they had to do. They presented everything to a newly assigned cold case detective in Cedar Creek, a detective who was willing to listen. The evidence was circumstantial, but it was a mountain of it. When confronted with the astronomy photo, the gas station reflection, the timeline that placed him at the scene, Miller's facade crumbled. He confessed. He had developed an obsession with Lena, had waited for, and in a moment of rejected advance, had taken her life. He led them to a remote wooded area, to the remains of Lena Petrov.
After 15 years of silence, a family finally had answers. Not from a seasoned detective's brilliant deduction, but from the collective, relentless curiosity of thousands of strangers. It begs a chilling question. In our modern world, is justice blind? Or is it watching through a million unblinking screens? The case of Lena Petrov is closed. But how many other ghosts are still waiting? Their stories hidden in a forgotten pixel, a stray reflection, just one click away from being found. This was the impossible cold case, solved not in an interrogation room, but in the quiet glow of 1,000 computer screens. The digital age has rewritten the rules of justice, and this story proves that sometimes the most powerful tool isn't a badge, but a shared human desire for truth. If you love real stories like this, make sure to subscribe to Criminal Codex, where every crime hides a deeper truth. Let us know in the comments, would you join an online sleuthing community to solve a cold case? If this story gripped you, please give it a like and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Until next time.